Right now, you're chilling with me, most bankable host, Aseli.
I am Mariam Bishar. Stories making headlines. And one of them will interest you because you are a fuel user one way or the other.
Nasema bei ya mafuta imepanda.
Imekuwa ikipanda steadily. I mean, we hit unprecedented highs last year, tukigonga 200, numbers we'd never seen. But earlier in President William Ruto's term, he did implement a government-to-government oil deal, which meant that as opposed to like an open tender system where anybody could bid to supply Kenya with oil, and the best lowest bidder or the best bidder gets the tender, it was now government to government. So Kenya entered a deal with Saudi Aramco, Abu Dhabi National Oil Company, and the Emirates National Oil Company in March last year. However, as a result, we have been paying 2 shillings and 70 cents a litre over, at least for petrol. That amounts to about 16 billion extra shillings due to this Gulf deal. So ideally, we should have been paying a bit less for our fuel if this had been done through an open tendering system.
And of course, according to one of the sources, the open tender system is what we used earlier on. It would actually make the space more competitive, and it would definitely help us with price per litre. And tukiangalia situations on ground, there's a lot that happens when fuel prices actually go up. We see an increase in transportation. We see rising cost of goods and services, and of course inflation, because people reduce their purchasing power, and especially consumers. That is the impact on businesses. There are some businesses that definitely fully depend on fuel or oil, and it actually affects how the day-to-day demand and the supply that is given every single day.
That's right. If you think like, you know what, I'm not a motorist, so this doesn't affect me, it definitely does. The cost of fuel affects the cost of everything else, and the cost of living as a whole. Since this actually deal began, since last year, we've seen a decline in the amount of fuel being used, whether it's diesel or petrol. The demand for petrol fell by 65 million litres, and that for diesel fell by 42 million liters.
65 million.
Yeah, that's quite a bit. Which just goes to show, again, if you increase the price of goods, it's not that people will buy them at that new price. They'll just use less, right? If I was driving, I'll use the Ma3. If I was in the Ma3, I might decide to walk because they've increased prices, or I might stay at home a few more days, or I might cut my transport, my movements by half. And the loser is all of us at the end of the day.
And of course, to move from fuel, some people opt for other options. And if fuel is expensive, then people go for options that can harm the environment. For example, watu watarudi kukata kuni na kutumia makaa.
Very true.
And the whole process has been to jaribu kuangalia environment yetu and try to make sure that everything goes well, planting trees and stuff like that, just to make sure that our environment is healing by the day. Right now,